Hey guys, so I know I just made a video a couple days ago about all the records that I found and all this stuff, but I kind of wanted to do a video about things that I've found for my personal collection here lately. And I know a lot of people, when I buy a record collection or something, I post it on Instagram. A lot of people are like, "Hey, make a video about it." So I put all my energy in videos into like talking about my big vinyl hauls and all that stuff. But I still do. There are individual records that I'm looking for that I've been trying to track down, and some that I've found. So this is just a small stack of albums I just want to talk about that I found here recently that I've been really excited about. I've been listening to a lot of, and just kind of take it one at a time. I know the past few videos I've just been blowing through just to fit as many into one video as possible. And this one I just kind of want to slow down and talk about a few that I found that I'm excited about. So first thing on the turntable is The Doors, Something Rockin' in Denmark. This is a Denmark TV show recording that was September 1967. And there's a couple tracks on here that is, no, actually this is 1968. There's a couple tracks from Monterey Pop Festival 67 that they did, but really, really cool bootleg. But anyway, so probably a month ago, there's a guy I had met before. He lives here locally. I bought some records from him a couple times, and he sent me a message on Instagram. He was like, "Hey, I've got a crate of records I want you to look at. I'm trying to get rid of some pretty good stuff." And I met up with him, and he had some really good stuff in there, some good Psych, some good classic rock like Zeppelin and Pink Floyd and Black Sabbath and stuff, which is always good for me. But anyways, the one that was in there, there's two in there that I was really excited about for myself, and that is this one. This is the main one. It's Odyssey and Oracle, the Zombies. This is an original on date, and me and this record have a long history. So I had found a copy when I was broke. Me and my wife had just gotten married, and I was just starting up the business, and I really needed money. And I listened to it, had never heard it before, and really, really enjoyed it. But I looked online; they were going for like over $100, and I needed the money, and so I sold it. I was thinking, I'm sure I'll find another one. I just got into this, and I'm sure they're around. Well, they're not. So it took me 7 years to find another one at an affordable price. I found one at a flea market. I've told the story before on here, I know, but I got it for $4 at a flea market. This was 2 years ago, and so that was the copy I had, and it was pretty beat up. It didn't skip or anything. There's a lot of surface noise, and I've always been wanting to find an upgrade copy. This copy is very, very clean, and I was really pleased. These I really don't ever see them. So the other one kind of had a sentimental value to me because it took me so long to find it. But a friend of mine really was looking for a copy, and he was cool with it, and he got it at an affordable price since it wasn't, perfect or whatever. Another one in there was the Velvet Underground Loaded. This, I'm not sure what pressing this is. I haven't even looked it up, but I know it's an older one. It's on Cotillion, but it's a nice, and you guys may know better than me, but it's this really nice pressing, and trying to get all my Velvet Underground stuff. Really have grown to love them over the years, and that was one that I didn't have, and I also had really never listened much to. So I was excited to get those two. This is an album that I have been looking for probably a couple years, and these you just don't see very often. So this is Titus, Groan. This is an album that came out in 1970. The band's called Titus, Groan, and the album's called Titus, Groan. And as you can see, there's some ring wear. These are hard to find without the ring wear. Not impossible, but really hard to find without that ring wear because the cover is so dark. But this is just a really, really cool. It's a little bit psychedelic, but mostly prog rock from 1970. It's on the Janus label. And this is a promo copy. I don't know if you can see that, but it's a promo copy. But yeah, I have been looking for this for a really long time, and they go for a lot. I mean, I've seen them go, you know, around $100, the non-promo copies, and this one, a friend of mine saw a link for it, knew I was looking for it, and he sent me a link to it. It was really affordable, and I was able to get it. I was really excited about that. So that's a really melodic. It's just it's a beautiful record. I mean, it's not crazy prog. It's got some good songwriting in it as well, and really highly recommend that. If you have not heard this record, it's called Titus Groan from 1970. So really, and Titus Groan, you may know, is a book, and I don't really know much about it other than that. The book, anyways. This next one is Townes Van Zandt live at the Old Quarter, Houston, Texas. This is on Fat Possum. It's not an original. It's on the Coke bottle vinyl. So a friend of mine was getting rid of a bunch of records, and he basically was like, anything I have that you're looking for. He was needing some cash, and I had seen that he posted this, and I was like, you know, would you let go of that Townes Van Zandt? Because the deal with Townes Van Zandt is you know, several people have told me over the years, you need to listen to Townes Van Zandt. It's just one of those things. I've never gotten into them. It's nothing. I just never. I don't know. I listened to his first record a couple years ago and didn't care for it. And now I can listen to his first record and kind of understand why, because it's so overproduced. There's so many other instruments in there that don't belong in there. He was just young, and they were the record label. It seemed to me, when I'm listening to it now, I don't know, but it seemed to me like they were really just trying to throw a lot more in there. And he was just a really killer songwriter and had some great songs. And so I got this, thinking I'll give it another shot. And I've heard this is really good. And I actually used to have an original of this, and I didn't even listen to it. I sold it. And I was getting some work done, and I threw it on the other day, and man, it just made me stop in my tracks. It was so good. Just I don't know what it was. I mean, the first side is the first song is Poncho and Lefty, which if you don't know that song, that's a really, really great track. There's so much I can say about Townes Van Zandt. Next song is Mr. Mud, Mr. Gold, which is just a great song. It has so many words to it. It's just really great. If I Needed You's on the first side too. So that first side just really has some killer songs on it. I was like, dang, this is good. And that was about a month ago. Since then, I bet 75% of what I've listened to is Townes Van Zandt or something close to it. But Townes Van Zandt was just, he's just a troubled soul. You know, he had kind of a rough life. I read a lot about him in the past month. Just he's bipolar, and his parents sent him off to have like experimental insulin shock therapy, which was they would inject him large amounts of insulin to cause him to go into periods of a coma, pretty much for a few days or a week at a time. And I don't know why they thought that would help, but they did. So that caused him to lose a lot of his long-term memory, and he struggled with substance abuse his whole life, and from then on out, and just really sad. A lot of his songs are sad songs, but just a brilliant songwriter. I mean, I can't believe I've gone this long without like loving it, you know. So I listened to, this is his self-titled, which is his third album. So by this point, he's kind of found his footing as a singer-songwriter, and the record label probably got off his back a little bit about overproducing his stuff. And this is just really raw acoustic for the most part. Just an absolutely breathtaking album, in my opinion. I mean, I absolutely love it. But you know, it's got let's see, Waiting Around to Die on it. That's a great track. Colorado Girl, Lungs. I'm sure you've heard that song. If you haven't, listen to it. It's great. But anyways, I'll be here in the morning. Oh gosh, I love that song. But I've just been spinning this like crazy. This was on Amazon. This is a reissue. I think it's on Fat Possum. Yeah. So both of those are on Fat Possum. They did a really good job reissuing, in my opinion, of these. This was on Amazon for like $13. I had a coupon, and it was just, it was too easy. I had to get it. So there's a lot more I could say, but I'm going to go on for the sake of how long the video is. But if you haven't heard that album, it's really good. So as I was reading a lot online about Townes Van Zandt and stuff, I was getting I was just seeing this album a lot. This is Willis Allen Ramsey, and I knew that I had seen this record before, and I thought I'd heard it before, but I kept seeing things about it, and I was like, man, I really need to pick that up next time I see it. And I was getting ready for my pop-up earlier last week, and I was looking through this shelf right here behind me. This whole, it's like a 16 cube shelf, is all stuff that I don't even know what it is. I know that sounds crazy, but when I buy a collection and I pull stuff out to get ready for my pop-up, whatever doesn't go to my pop-up goes on the shelf, and I have to just deal with it later. So it's stuff that I'm not sure about. I gotta look up value, gotta check condition, whatever. And it's a horrible system and a horrible way to do things, but that's how I roll. So it was on this shelf. It was in that I was going through some stuff to pull out for the sale, and I saw it, and I could not believe it. And put it on, and it's similar to Townes Van Zandt. It's really, really good, raw acoustic, good singer-songwriter with a tinge of country type feel. So I know it's not a recent vinyl find, but it kind of is because I did find it, even though it was at my own house. So that's a really great record. And I made mention of this in my last video. This is a J.K. & Company, Suddenly One Summer. I had a reissue of this. It's just a really, really great album. I bought a reissue of it 2 months ago because I thought I probably wouldn't find one for a while because they really are hard to come by, and when you do find them, they're really super expensive. So my good friend had an extra copy, and he let me get it from him for a really, really reasonable price. It's on White Whale, and it's not in the absolute best shape, but I did listen to it, and it plays really well, and it was cheap enough to where I really honestly could never complain. This next one's funny. I need to do a video about, I did buy a record store. This record store had gone out of business about a month and a half, 2 months ago, and this guy called me. It's a really long and crazy story. God, it is a crazy story. I definitely need to make a video about it, but ended up buying all the inventory. It was sitting in a warehouse, and I had to drive like 3 hours to go pick it up. Spent a fortune on a U-Haul, but anyways, in that, I still have a lot of that inventory that I haven't gone through yet. Not a lot, I'd say maybe 1,000 that I haven't gone through yet. It was about somewhere between 7,000 and 9,000 records, I don't even know. A lot of it I already sold. A lot of the stuff that would be considered dollar records, I blew all that out because I just don't have room and time for that. But this is a record that I saw that was autographed, and I just pulled it out, looked at it, and I was like, cool, whatever. Threw it kind of on a shelf to go through later. And I was going through some stuff, and something made me think of it, and I was like, well, that's autographed. I should probably go back and see what it is. So I'd never heard of Kevin Moore before, so I looked at the autograph to see what it said. It says, "To Carol, this is a celebration. Thanks, Kebmo, a.k.a. Kevin Moore." And I love Kebmo. Looking at his face, that is Kebmo. And I just could not believe, if you know Kebmo, I really started listening to him like probably 2004, 2003 maybe. Shoot, maybe even earlier than that. But he just does some killer, he plays a resonator a lot and just some killer blues, acoustic stuff. And he's just really great. One of his main songs that I know him for, that he wrote, is "Anybody Seen My Girl?" And that was on this record. It's very, very, very different on this record. but it is on here. So really excited to have that. It's so cool that it's autographed, and that's how I figured out who it was, because it says Kevmo on it. So really, really cool that was that I found that, because obviously the guy that owned the record store had no idea it was in there. He probably would have mentioned it. But anyways, this next one, this is Wilco Yankee Hotel Foxtrot. I'd seen this record. I listened to it once when I was 18, 19 maybe. So yeah, that seems about right. And I did like it then, but it just didn't grab me. I don't know. And I was picking up a bunch of records from a friend, and he had this, and so I was like, I'm gonna listen to it before I sell it. Ended up really, really, really loving it. It's just so crazy how sometimes a record can just not strike you, and then years down the road your tastes change and evolve, and it just grab you so hard after, you've heard it before and it didn't do anything for you. It happens that way for me a lot, actually. I don't know why, but this one, somebody traded this into my pop-up, and I've seen this record 1,000 times. People post about it, I've read about it, I just never heard it. And this is U-Roy, Dread in the Babylon. This is, man, it's just, Bob Marley here, as far as reggae is concerned, most people only really know Bob Marley. This is not like Bob. It is like Bob Marley in the fact that it's reggae, but it's just a deeper, I'm not saying deeper, like better. I'm just saying it's like I don't know, it's just, it's a little bit harder and raw around the edges, I guess you'd say. So I've been to Jamaica, and I've hung out with people like this that are just like smoking some serious weed and making some killer reggae music. And like I met a guy down there. His name was Ja Tiger, and I was thinking, man, this guy's awesome. Like, he really was awesome. He had dreads like down to his knees, and he gave us like a demo CD that he had made, and we listened to it. I still have it. It's great. Long story short, a couple years ago, I was listening to a like Pandora playlist, and I hear his song. Action Bronson, the rapper, went to Jamaica and met him just like I did, and ended up using one of his tracks as a sample, which was pretty funny. So anyways, I know I probably mentioned it like a month ago, but I bought this collection from a guy. His kids inherited his collection. He worked at a radio station for 40 years or so, and they said he brought a record home every day, which I believe it, because it was like thousands. So I bought this collection. There was a lot of weird stuff in there. A lot of stuff wasn't worth anything, but there were a few really cool ones. And I just kind of really went through them really quickly. And this one apparently came from that collection, Bill Evans Alone. It's really funny because I love Bill Evans. Just an absolutely phenomenal piano player. Really great jazz, but also kind of classical. Just beautiful music. A lot of his albums I sell because people want them so bad, and so I'm usually not able to hang on to any that I get. But this one, I actually, I just recently got Apple Music, and when I'm running or whatever, I don't run much anymore, but when I'm running errands, like doing work, I drive in my car, my radio doesn't work in my truck, so I just listen to stuff on Apple Music, and for some reason here lately I've been listening to this album, and I didn't realize I had it, and I was going through the stuff I had bought from that collection that I kind of put aside for later to look up later. I did not know this was in there, and I don't know how I didn't know, but I didn't. But it's a promo. This is just really good solo piano. It's really killer stuff. It's in just absolute mint condition. Look at the Verb label. It says the DJ Confi on there. Really, really cool. So I'm thrilled to have that. I really am not selling that because I love it. And then I'll just talk about this really quick. I know a lot of you guys might not be into hip hop, but I'm not like really super into hip hop, but I like good hip hop records that are really good and have substance to them. This album, The Fugees, the score, it's just, I mean, it is a phenomenal work of art in my opinion. You say what you will about hip hop, but so you had Lauryn Hill. She was an incredible vocalist, and she had impeccable timing. When she would rap, and then you had Wyclef Jean, which was just he was just a killer. I mean, he just great rhetoric when he wrote songs, and when he rapped, when he delivered them. I mean, even like further on in his solo career, I think his music's great. Then you had Pross. He was I believe he either got his master's or doctorate in psychology at Yale. So he was really a smart guy. He wrote really well as well, and this is an original U.S. pressing. Just recently got that at a really good price, so I was excited. And then these last two I got from a good buddy of mine. Traded them in at a pop-up. He traded in like a huge crate of stuff, and very few people do I know well enough that he's like, hey, this is the crate, this is how much I want for it. I kind of skimmed through it very lightly, but didn't look too terribly much at everything. And he told me what he wanted for him, and he's dealt with me very fairly in the past, so I didn't question him. I just said sure, whatever. And so this is one that I saw that I was super excited about, but this is Eddie Hazel. This is Game Danes and Guitar Things. This is Eddie Hazel's only solo effort, I believe. But Eddie Hazel is the guitar player from Funkadelic. When you hear Maggot Brain, that killer guitar solo coming into Maggot Brain, that's Eddie Hazel. In my opinion, without Eddie Hazel, Funkadelic would not have made it as far, and Maggot Brain would not be as iconic without Eddie Hazel, in my opinion. But you know what they say about opinions. This is just a really great record, very innovative guitar playing. It's just, I love this album. I mean, listening to it puts me in a good mood, and that's mark of true good music. The Beatles, I Want You, She's So Heavy. There's a cover of that on here, and it's just killer, absolutely incredible. I love this record. I'm really appreciative to my friend for letting it go. And this one, I about crapped my drawers when I saw. And then I realized pretty quickly that it was not an original, and I didn't even know this had been reissued, but this is like some absolute incredible psych rock and prog rock. This is recorded in '69. I mean, just look at that cover. I was excited to get it because, first of all, if it was an original, I would not let myself keep it. I would have to sell it because it would be worth too much. There's very few albums that would be worth, enough. Like, I don't know, originals of this go for several $100s and up. So there's very few albums that I like enough that I'm not going to sell at that price. So it kind of let me off the hook a little bit to keep it. The mix on it is not great. This is the label. And actually, I don't even know who put it out, but it's originally on Harvest, I believe. But the mix on it's not great; it's a little flat, but it is on vinyl and it's cool to have. So I'm really not complaining. But if you haven't heard this album, look it up. It's a really good listen, really heavy hitting, fast guitar, hard rock, hard prog psyche influence, but it's just a really great album. I can't imagine listening to it and not enjoying it. So that's it, guys. Just talking about a few records that I really have been enjoying lately that I have my sights set on, I was able to get. So, at heart, I'm a record collector. I know I get a lot of thumbs down on my videos because people don't like seeing a dealer in the VC or whatever. I don't really care. I think it's interesting. to me, one of the things I love about finding collections and stuff is really interesting where they come from and why people sell things and how they sell things and where it comes from and what records come with what and how people's tastes have evolved. That's extremely interesting to me. It's just a record collection is so anthropological because you can understand so much about somebody about what they have in their record collection. So that's why I make the videos I do. I do not try to do it to sell people on the VC records. I have not sold, I won't say that, I've sold a couple records for people in the VC, but I've been very fair. That's not my target audience. I really try to sell most of my stuff locally, but a lot of people find it fascinating where stuff comes from. So if you watch these videos and you don't like that, just know that's not my heart. My heart is to just share where stuff's coming from and kind of encourage people to just keep digging and finding stuff because there's stuff out there. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this video. I enjoy doing videos like this every once in a while when I can, so thank you guys. Alright guys, I'm going to play you Townes Van Zandt song. I don't do this very often, but I thought, what the heck, this is my video, I'm going to do it. This is my wife's guitar. It's a Gibson Songwriter. It's a really, really cool guitar. It's got a cutaway. She likes it with a cutaway. I've got a Gibson J45. That's my main guitar. But I thought if I can remember all the words, I'd sing you guys this song. So I'll do my best. Living on the road, my friend, it's gonna keep you free and clean. Now you wear your skin like iron and your breath as hard as kerosene. You want your mama's only boy, but a favorite one it seems. She began to cry when you said goodbye. It sank into your dream. Now Pancho was a bandit, boys. His horse was fast as polished steel. He wore his gun outside his pants for all the honest world to feel. Now Pancho met his match, you know, in a desert down in Mexico. No one heard his dying words. That's just how it goes. And all the federales say they could have had him any day. They just let him hang around out of kindness, I suppose. Lefty, he can't sing the blues all night long like he used to. The dusty Pancho bit down south, ended up and left his mouth. The day they lay poor Pancho low, left his split for Ohio, where he got the bread to go. And nobody knows. All the federales say they could have had him any day. They only let him slip away out of kindness, I suppose. The poets tell how Pancho fell, left his living in a cheap hotel. The desert's quiet and Cleveland's cold, so the story ends, we're told. Pancho needs your prayers, it's true. Saved a few for Lefty too. He just did what he had to do. Now he's growing old. A few great federales say they could have had him any day. They only let him slip away. I suppose. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Sorry I had a little bit of a cold, but I thought I'd sing that one for you. That's one I've been really enjoying playing and picking a little bit. So hope y'all enjoyed the video. If you made it this far, see you next time.